Toxic relationships don't always begin with cruelty or control. Often they begin with charm, promises, and hope. But over time, subtle signs begin to appear, signs that something is not right. Your peace fades. Your energy drains. Your self-worth begins to wither under the weight of someone else's control, disrespect, or indifference. This guide is here to help you recognize the signs of a toxic relationship, understand why they matter, and most importantly, offer you a path toward healing. You deserve love that nourishes, not love that wounds. Respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship. Without it, even love becomes corrupted. If your partner regularly belittles you, talks down to you, or makes you feel unworthy, especially in front of others, it's a clear red flag. Disrespect isn't just about raised voices or harsh words. It's about subtle digs, dismissive behavior, and constant invalidation. If apologies feel hollow and are quickly followed by repeated offenses, it's no longer a mistake, it's a pattern. Your healing begins when you recognize that love without respect is not love at all. Set clear boundaries. Speak your truth calmly but firmly. And if nothing changes, give yourself permission to walk away. Every couple argues. But if every conversation turns into a battlefield, something deeper is broken. Do your discussions end in yelling, silent treatments, or sarcasm? Do your needs get twisted into accusations? Healthy communication involves listening, empathy, and emotional responsibility. Toxic communication uses deflection, blame, and intimidation. If your partner can't hear your pain without reacting defensively or aggressively, they may not be emotionally mature enough for a healthy relationship. Your voice deserves to be heard without fear. In any genuine relationship, be it romantic, familial, or friendship, there must be a sacred balance of energy. A relationship is not a throne where one sits and the other serves. It is a path walked together, side by side, with both hearts contributing, both souls showing up. But what happens when only one person carries the weight? You notice it in the small things first. You're always the one sending the first message. You plan the dates, solve the conflicts, and carry the emotional responsibility. You give hoping one day they'll notice. But all you receive in return is silence, excuses, or empty promises. This is not love. It is emotional abandonment wearing the mask of companionship. Love requires effort, not perfect effort, but honest effort. It needs nurturing, attention, and presence. If you've communicated your needs and expressed your feelings, yet nothing changes, then listen closely. They're not invested, they're merely present. This kind of one-sided emotional labor is a silent killer of self-worth. You begin to doubt yourself. Am I asking for too much? Maybe I should be more patient. No, you're not too much. You are just too much for someone who is willing to give too little. Your healing begins when you stop apologizing for wanting reciprocity. When you realize your energy is divine. Your time, your heart, your love, they are sacred offerings. And they deserve to be received, not taken for granted. Walk away from anyone who makes you feel like you have to earn their basic effort. You are not hard to love. You are just giving your love to someone who does not value it. A touch of jealousy is natural. It flickers in the heart when something precious feels at risk. But when jealousy becomes the ruling emotion, when it begins to shape your behavior, your friendships, your freedom, it has crossed a sacred boundary. It may come disguised as concern, Why were you online so late? Who is that person commenting on your posts? Why didn't you reply right away? At first, it might feel like attention, like someone who cares deeply. But over time, it begins to feel like surveillance. You find yourself justifying harmless interactions. You hesitate before speaking the truth. You shrink your world just to keep their insecurities from erupting. This is not love. It is fear trying to wear the clothes of affection. Jealousy, when constant and extreme, is not a reflection of your behavior. It's a mirror of their inner chaos. It stems from unhealed wounds, past betrayals, or deep-rooted fears. But here's the hard truth. You are not responsible for fixing someone who turns their trauma into your cage. Love honors space. It trusts the soul it walks beside. Real love doesn't isolate you from others. It celebrates you with others. It doesn't make you feel guilty for being seen. It rejoices in your light. When someone's jealousy becomes a leash, when they question every connection, when they use your honesty against you, that is not protection. That is possession. And you are not meant to be owned. You are meant to be loved freely in truth and trust. Remember, your growth requires room. Room to breathe. Room to be trusted, not policed, to be cherished, not controlled. Love should never feel like a cage. It should not suffocate your spirit or demand the surrender of your freedom. Yet, sometimes what begins as affection slowly evolves into control, masked behind phrases like, "I'm only doing this because I love you. I just want what's best for you." If you have nothing to hide, why not share everything? Soon your choices are no longer yours. They criticize how you dress, question who you meet, demand access to your phone, or track your location, not out of trust, but from fear masked as concern. You may start to feel like you're walking on eggshells, second-guessing every move, every word, every friend. It doesn't happen overnight. It creeps in slowly, quietly, until your voice grows faint and your independence begins to dissolve. This isn't love. It's control. A subtle, suffocating manipulation wrapped in the illusion of care. When love becomes conditional, when it's used as leverage to shape who you are, it ceases to be love at all. Real love does not clip your wings. It doesn't require you to shrink to be safe. Control is a wound disguised as protection. But you are not here to live in someone else's fear. You are here to live in your truth. True love honors autonomy. It celebrates your individuality, your voice, your space. It nurtures the sacred right to choose, to grow, to evolve. So if someone calls it love but builds walls around your spirit, it's time to ask, is this love, or is this fear pretending to care? You have the right to choose, the right to breathe, the right to be. And anyone who truly loves you will never ask you to give that up. Every soul carries silent longings, to be seen, to be held, to be understood. We all have emotional needs. They are not weaknesses. They are the soft languages of the heart. Affection, presence, support, space, reassurance, safety. In a healthy relationship, these needs are not only allowed, they are honored. Partners listen, respond, adjust. They may not always get it right, but they try, because your emotions matter to them. But when you find your vulnerability met with mockery, when your need for closeness is labeled as too much, when your pain is shrugged off or your joy goes unnoticed, you begin to shrink. You start to question if you're asking for too much. when all you truly want is to feel held and understood. This is not how love is meant to feel. A relationship that disregards your emotional reality isn't a sanctuary, it becomes a storm. And over time, it erodes your self-worth, replacing softness with self-doubt. You are not needy. You are human. Emotional needs are not burdens, they are bridges to intimacy. They are the soul's way of reaching out, of seeking resonance, of whispering, "Please meet me where I am." If your partner repeatedly refuses to meet you there, if they invalidate, ignore, or belittle your emotional truth, then you must become the one who validates it. Healing begins when you say, "I deserve to be heard. I deserve to be met." Not only by others, but first by yourself. You are not difficult. You are not too much. You are simply asking for what your heart rightfully needs. A love that cannot honor your needs will eventually teach you how to honor them on your own. And in that, you will begin to heal. Do you pause before speaking? Not to reflect, but to protect? Do you rehearse your sentences in your head, afraid that one wrong word will spark cold silence, or worse, a storm? This is not love. This is fear in disguise. When you live in constant anticipation of someone else's reaction, you begin to lose pieces of yourself. Your expression softens into silence. Your voice, once free, becomes filtered, cautious, diluted. This is emotional suppression. And over time, it doesn't just affect your relationship, it erodes your self-worth. You start believing your feelings are dangerous, your truth is disruptive, your presence too heavy. But listen carefully. No one should have to fear their partner's temper. You are not fragile for needing emotional safety. You are wise to crave peace. The first step to healing is honesty with yourself. Name the fear. Acknowledge the anxiety. And then begin the slow, courageous journey back to your voice. You deserve a love where your words are not landmines but seeds of trust. There is a sacred space within you, a garden of thoughts, memories, and feelings that belong solely to you. True love honors that space. It invites you to share, not demands you to surrender. But when your partner insists on full access to your phone, your passwords, your private journal, your every move, it's not transparency, it's surveillance. And it's not rooted in trust, it's rooted in fear. Their need to control comes from their insecurity, but that doesn't make it right. Your freedom is not a sacrifice you owe to soothe someone else's wounds. In healthy love, openness grows naturally. But boundaries are not walls, they are doors with locks. You get to choose who enters. Your inner world is not a crime scene. You don't need to prove your innocence with evidence. You need space to breathe, to think, to simply be. Love built on forced transparency will always feel like a cage. Reclaim your right to privacy. Because trust isn't proven through access, it's proven through respect. Are you always bracing for impact? Not from life, but from the person you're with? When your partner's moods shift like weather, and the atmosphere in your home feels like a thundercloud, you begin to live on alert, waiting for the next downpour of anger, coldness, or silence. This unpredictability is not passion. It's emotional instability leaking into your life, wearing away your peace like water against stone. It is not your job to be their emotional stabilizer. You are not a sponge meant to soak up their pain, nor a shield built to withstand their storms. A relationship should be a refuge, not a battlefield. a sanctuary, not a state of constant readiness. If their unhealed trauma is bleeding onto you, you must stop trying to bandage their wounds at the cost of your own. Healing begins when you say, "I'm not here to survive love. I am here to thrive within it." You deserve calm. You deserve consistency. You deserve someone whose love feels safe, not seismic. 10. Gaslighting. When love dismantles your reality. Gaslighting is not always loud. It often comes wrapped in charm, with a smile that hides the blade. Sounds like, "I never said that. You're too sensitive. You're imagining things. You're overreacting again." And slowly, piece by piece, your reality begins to crumble. You doubt your memories. You question your emotions. You wonder, is it really me? This is not confusion. This is emotional abuse. Gaslighting is a psychological tactic used to control and destabilize. It isolates you from your inner truth. And that is the most dangerous place to be, disconnected from your own mind and heart. But let this be your anchor. You are not crazy. You are being manipulated. Trust the tightness in your gut. Believe the tears that come without explanation. Honor the discomfort that refuses to fade. And when you begin to see the pattern, reach out to someone who can reflect your truth back to you, clearly, compassionately, without distortion. You are not broken. You are waking up. And the moment you name what's happening is the moment you begin to reclaim your reality. Gaslighting is not always loud. It often comes wrapped in charm, with a smile that hides the blade. Sounds like, "I never said that. You're too sensitive. You're imagining things. You're overreacting again." And slowly, piece by piece, your reality begins to crumble. You doubt your memories. You question your emotions. You wonder, is it really me? This is not confusion. This is emotional abuse. Gaslighting is a psychological tactic used to control and destabilize. It isolates you from your inner truth. And that is the most dangerous place to be, disconnected from your own mind and heart. But let this be your anchor. You are not crazy. You are being manipulated. Trust the tightness in your gut. Believe the tears that come without explanation. Honor the discomfort that refuses to fade. And when you begin to see the pattern, reach out to someone who can reflect your truth back to you, clearly, compassionately, without distortion. You are not broken. You are waking up. And the moment you name what's happening is the moment you begin to reclaim your reality. Healing from a toxic relationship is not about rushing into forgiveness or pretending nothing happened. It's a journey, slow, sacred, and deeply personal. Reconnect with yourself. Start by rebuilding the relationship that matters most, the one with yourself. What do you love? What did you sacrifice? Who were you before the toxicity? Reclaim your identity. Set firm boundaries. Even after a breakup, toxicity can linger through guilt, manipulation, or self-doubt. Boundaries are your lifeline. Use them to protect your space, peace, and healing time. Seek support. Toxic relationships often isolate. Healing requires reconnection with friends, therapists, support groups, and loved ones who validate your experiences and remind you of your worth. Let go of guilt. You may feel shame for staying too long or grief over what could have been. These are natural. But remember, your survival was never a weakness. It was strength in disguise. Practice self-compassion. Healing isn't linear. Some days you'll feel strong, others broken. Be gentle with yourself. Progress is not perfection. It's choosing yourself again and again. Toxic love is not your destiny. You were not born to walk on eggshells, to apologize for your existence, or to beg for the bare minimum. You were not made to shrink yourself to fit inside someone else's fear. You were made for love that expands you, that nourishes your spirit, protects your peace, and celebrates your soul. If these signs echoed in your heart, if you saw yourself in the silence, in the self-doubt, in the secret pain, know this: it's not too late. Not too late to begin again. Not too late to reclaim your voice. Not too late to walk toward the life and love you deserve. The most powerful decision you can make is not waiting for someone to choose you. Is choosing yourself. Choose healing even if it feels unfamiliar. Choose peace even if you've learned to survive chaos. Choose the kind of love that starts with self-respect. Because all lasting love begins within. You are not too much. You are not too broken. You are not beyond repair. You are rising. You are remembering who you are beneath the wounds. You are unbecoming everything that was never love, and becoming everything that is. You are not alone. You are deeply, divinely worthy, and you are loved more than you've ever been told. So walk forward, not with fear but with fire, not with shame but with sacred strength, because your story doesn't end here. It begins.